The Twitter implosion is reportedly upon us, but I can't seem to see it anywhere. So if we're talking about implosion in terms of Elon Musk firing tons of people, well, yeah, that's actually happening. But the company shutting down? Okay, let me slow down. For those of you that don't know and don't care about Twitter, I will say it is a relatively important place to get for a news feed. I mean, what I use it for mostly is following political personalities and news organizations, journalists, to see what they're talking about. Most of the people I follow, it's like journalists and news organizations, and then like political commentators. So it is interesting because it is useful. Someone will break news right away, and I'll see it there faster than anything else, which is great. But I could also just, go to news sources directly because typically people are posting things from news sources. But there's also memes and stuff like that. So look, there's value here, right? But for too long, the company has been beholden to woke activists. Why? A study I covered quite a ways back found that digital marketing in terms of Twitter communities completely overlapped with Democrats. Kid you not. They actually had this bubble chart where they showed like what people tweet about and who they interact with. Conservatives are over here, Democrats over here, digital marketing specialists are right here. So here's what happens. A big brand says we want to spend $20 million in ad buys. A handful of woke activists start spam tweeting at them. The company then says we're not going to advertise on Twitter until certain things are removed. That's why you saw the censorship for the most part. Elon Musk knew that. And it's why he pushed Twitter Blue so heavily as soon as he got in. Like, guys, we need subscriptions. We need it now. Because otherwise, this company is just going to keep melting. There was funny news, I guess, SpaceX, I think it was, getting a big ad buy on Twitter. And they're trying to make it seem like Elon's trying to prop his own company up. But apparently SpaceX is just starting to advertise across the board in other places as well. But anyway, I digress. Last night, we got word from the departing Twitter employees who are crying about it, and they won't shut up, that the website can't last, that it's going to shut down. This is the last day. I have a feeling, actually, that Twitter may hiccup. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Some of the things Elon has done have been like eye-rollishly bad. Double verification. Yikes, bro. Come on. Because he wants to keep the advertisers, but also wants people to get verified because he needs a subscription revenue. So anyway, what we're being told is that the Twitter, when we wake up, would no longer be there. Well, sure enough, it's still there. Everything's running. And Elon eliminated almost all of the staff. All that's remaining now is around 10%, reportedly 10% of the company. And everything's still working. Now, what I'd like to do is, for the sake of Schadenfreude, show you the videos of these people quitting. And then we'll actually talk about what's going on in the future of Twitter and why this is all a good thing. Elon Musk fires the overwhelming majority of employees at Twitter, and it's a good thing. So, they say at the Daily Mail, Twitter could lose 75% of its remaining 3,700 workers as hundreds resign overnight. Ruthless Elon Musk locks staff out of offices to stop potential sabotage and trolls critics, including AOC. Well, good for him. Let me show you this thread. DM of Engineering on Twitter. Funny, on Twitter, right? Says, from Twitter engineering to Elon Musk, goodbye. And then here we go. With the salute emoji, we have Pavan. He says, my watch ends today with Twitter 1.0 is an honor. One person, Stefan, I resigned. Another person has me blocked. I don't even know who they are, but hey, how about that? Then after 12 years, I left Twitter. After 8.5 years, I left Twitter. I'm leaving Twitter, leaving Twitter, leaving Twitter. Look at this. They're like the kind of people who work at Twitter. He has blocks with numbers on them. And a Twitter octopus taking over the world and, whatever. Last tweet from this laptop. I'm quitting Twitter. I'm quitting. Look at all these people. And here we go. The viral video.
30
Heavens.
30.
Let me play this for you. I want you to see this. And then I want to explain to you why this is all
seconds
happening.
left. 35 seconds.
You have like an atomic clock.
Oh, he's got his thing. Everybody here, we're all about to get fired from Twitter.
Yeah, that's right. You are.
I've been here 9 years and 9 months now. Same with you.
Right.
How long were you here?
4 years.
4 years?
2 months. 9 years and a month.
Oh, 9
No,
years.
you're not living.
Long
No,
time.
no, he was after.
Long time.
Wait.
Years.
Oh,
10 seconds.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year!
Happy New Year. Heaven forbid. I feel so bad for these guys that Elon Musk asked them to do hard work. For real. That's what happened. So if you haven't seen the story, basically Elon Musk sent an email. He gave staff a 5 p.m. Thursday deadline to decide whether they'll stay or give up their jobs. It's fascinating. And there was this great thread breaking down what Elon Musk was doing. Elon Musk knows what he's doing. Before I tell you, let me explain the genius that is Elon Musk. Well, I mean, first of all, the dude's the richest guy on the planet, so he certainly knows what he's doing to a certain degree. I'm not saying he's a good guy across the board, but I kind of like what he does. SpaceX is really cool. Let's go to Mars. There's a story about how someone was leaking information from Tesla. I think it was Tesla. And Elon needed to find out who it was. Someone asked him, how did you find this leaker? What Elon did was he had a company-wide email sent out that was identical, except somewhere in the email chain was a double space. Get it? So everyone thought they were getting the same email. The leaker then screenshots it and sends it to the media. Elon then sees the screenshot that gets published and says, where's the space at? The space is in line 3, word 4 at the end after the T. That was John Smith. Because they sent unique emails disguised as mass emails. And then apparently he went to this guy and said, you should find employment elsewhere. And that's how they stopped the leak. So knowing that Elon Musk has these plans and understands how to do this, what's happening with Twitter? Apparently, it's quite simple, actually. Now, Elon Musk isn't going to come out. He's not going to come out and tell you this. But the company was bloated. I mean, just so much nonsense. What's happening, trends, and other BS. So the first thing he does is he fires half the people because there's just too many people. But notice he asked people to come back. Removing half, it's like a sorting algorithm. He immediately saw where the holes were and then said, okay, I'm sorry. We do need you. Okay. Because how else is he going to find out, right? Now, with the remaining half, he knows he's got people complaining on Twitter, smack talking him in Slack, refusing to do work. So what does he do? He sends an email saying, if you want to keep your job, we are going into hardcore mode, long hours, and it's going to be very difficult. Click yes. And around 90% said, I'm quitting. I don't want to do hard work. Perfect. Look, I think it's a perfectly reasonable transaction. If you don't want to do hard work, then you don't need Elon's money. And then they're acting like they've been slighted, like I should be able to work here forever. Elon Musk doesn't owe you anything and you don't owe him anything. If Elon is saying we're going to grind things down and find the core staff, so be it. If you don't want to do that anymore, I got no beef. Have a nice day. Take a look at this tweet. I love this one. Pop Base tweeted, what is this? Pop Base is a source of pop culture news. Twitter could break as soon as tonight. According to an inside source, the internal version of the Twitter app used by employees is already slowing down. I've literally noticed nothing. Everything is just still going. That's the crazy thing. You know, if you watch Timcast IRL, you'll have heard Ian consistently talk about how we got to free the code, man. We got to free the code so that people can make their own Twitter. And I'm just like, bro, you're not saying anything. I disagree, okay? I certainly understand freeing the code in terms of algorithms so we can know how we're being manipulated. So I agree with him on that. But like, dude, Twitter is nothing. Twitter is not technology. Maybe it was a while ago. But Twitter is basically a text input output feed. That's nothing. Like you could probably write Twitter with a few lines of code. Input text, text appear, chronological order, reverse chronological order. Okay, I'm being a little hyperbolic. I know there are features. I don't care about the features. Direct messaging, okay, requires a little bit of code, but not that much. Twitter itself, type in word, press enter. Words go to Twitter server. Twitter server displays text. Very complicated indeed. Well, let me show you where we're at. So I showed you this video. It's been a ride. Sorry, guys. Some employees were summoned to a conference room in the San Francisco office, while others called in via video conference as the 5 p.m. deadline passed. Some who had called in began hanging up, seemingly having decided to leave, even as Mr. Musk continued speaking. I want to just tell you something, you know? They're all acting like everyone's got to go to Mastodon, okay? They're all acting like Elon's destroyed the company and Twitter's still doing exactly what it's always done. I've noticed nothing. And it's funny, they're laughing emojis about people hanging up. He was firing them. You realize that, right? I'm not surprised they hung up. You're laughing like, they're hanging up. Bro, he was firing them. But I guess if you're laughing because he was firing them, like, okay, I agree. That's kind of funny. Kind of funny. Yeah, here's where we end up. Jim Bianco says, supposedly Twitter lost 90% of its staff. The fear is this app stops working soon. Or is the real fear that it does not, and it sends a powerful message to the rest of Silicon Valley and even all of corporate America about the true staffing needs? Which brings me to this video. Somebody posted this video. Elon Musk responded to it, so I watched it. And Carl Icahn talking about how he fired an entire building of people, 12 floors. I do think he could have made the story a bit more concise, 8 minutes and 34 seconds, but boy, was this video a hoot. Let me break it down for you. Carl Icahn, he bought a boxcar manufacturing company or something like that, and he says the real genius is you get these great tax incentives. You can write down the boxcar 6-7 years, but keep it for 40. So it's basically free, after a certain amount of time. They want the government's incentivizing the production of these things. So he says he goes into this 3rd Avenue. I think he's in New York. And he's trying to figure out what these people do. And they can't explain it. And they say it's very arcane, but we'll show you. And then he says, okay, I don't understand what you're doing. And they're like, well, we can explain it, but it's very hard and difficult. He said, okay, whatever. He explains how he wants to go find the COO in St. Louis. They do the manufacturing down there. And they say, no, don't talk to him. They're going to freak out and they're going to think you're going to start firing people. And he's like, okay. So he secretly calls the COO and says, I want to meet. He goes down and meets the guy. The guy explains what they do and he says, I get it. I know exactly what you're doing. And then he says, let's grab a drink. He has a drink with the COO and he asks the guy, what are they doing back in I think it's in New York. And the guy says, he says, if you, I'll give you the gist of it. Fire all of them and I need 30 less people. He said, how many people do you need to make this work? And he goes, less than 30 minus 30. And he goes, what do you mean? And he goes, if you fire every single person in that office, 12 floors, I will need 30 less people here to manage them. And so he's talking about how he's like, what? This guy's crazy. So he hires some consultants, professor, and, they go into the New York office, 12 floors of people. And they start going through and asking everybody like what they do and putting together a report. After a few weeks, they come back with this big book and say, here's what they do. And then Carl's like, I'm not going to read that. Tell me what they do. And they're like, Mr. Icahn, you've been straight with us. So we're going to be straight with you. We have no idea what they're doing. So he went in and he fired everyone. And that's true. That's what happened. And he goes on to explain something. You get these companies, they make a lot of money. The CEO's rich. They don't care. So they just keep these people on. They don't get rid of them. Well, eventually a new owner comes in and says, I'm not going to keep paying these guys. I want to make money. And that's what happens. And this is what's happening now with Elon Musk. They're going through this period where for a long time, the company had money. And so the company decided we're just going to hire people to do whatever they want and just kind of roll with it. And then what happens? People don't even work. They don't even show up. In that viral video from Veritas, one guy's like, I work 4 hours a week. Or maybe even less than that. They show up, they get massages, they play with Legos, they drink wine, and they do nothing. Yeah, that's crazy. So Elon Musk, this is what he's doing. He's purging. He's trying to find the people who actually make the site work. Then, I'm willing to bet, he says to them, just like the story from Carl Icahn, tell me what you need. And the guys who actually do the work are going to be like, I could use a guy, to do X, Y, or Z. And he's going to be like, okay. He's going to eliminate the bloat, eliminate the massive overhead, get the costs way down. And this is always what he planned to do. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Ed Markey on Twitter. You know him, you love him. Ed Markey, Senator, Democrat. He says, Twitter is already on privacy probation and we're seeing fresh chaos every day. That's why I'm joining Senator Blumenthal in asking the FTC to investigate any breach of Twitter's consent decree or other violations. No company is above the law and Twitter must answer to the FTC. Oh, here we go. In this video from MSNBC, Amy Klobuchar threatens Musk. We have no rules when it comes to do they get to keep their immunity when they're actually amplifying hate speech and misinformation. There are ways we could put rules in place. This could be a major focus for Congress next year. No, it couldn't, because the Republicans have Congress. So keep spinning your wheels. But notice this, what corruption truly looks like. These individuals did nothing. For years, Twitter was sowing chaos in politics. Hunter Biden laptop story is just the most recent example, I suppose. Probably not the most recent, but the most impactful. They did nothing. But now that Elon Musk is taking away their narrative machine, well, everybody loses their minds. Sure. Look, I think Elon Musk knows what he's doing. It doesn't mean he will be successful, but I think he knows what he's doing. It's funny. Someone tweeted, it might have been Cat Turd. I don't know. Cat Turd's a Twitter user. And they were like, Elon Musk is making self-driving cars and people think he can't make a self-driving Twitter. Yo, Twitter is nothing complicated. It's so simple that Mastodon exists. Open source alternatives. There's a bunch of different versions of Twitter. There's Parler, there's Gab. To an extent, there's Minds. Minds is kind of more like Facebook, but, they all function basically the same. You make a post, people can see it. What Twitter really is a hub. It's a centralized hub that is hard to break. People want to be here, so they are. Even these people who are complaining about Twitter, saying it's going to shut down and they're quitting, they're still doing it on Twitter. They're like, I quit, Elon. I'm going to tweet this right now. He's got you by the balls. Y'all are addicted. You're stuck in the machine. Hey, I wouldn't care if Elon Musk hit the delete button, because I think Twitter's caused a lot of problems, driven people insane. But I'd prefer Elon Musk fix the problem, deal with the bots. No longer will we see advertisers get harassed. This is what Elon Musk needs to say to them. And I hope he has, and I hope he understands this, because he's had meetings with advertisers. He needs to say, when you get inundated by tweets of people saying they're angry, those aren't real people. I am going to delete the bots, verify users, so you will actually know what your customers want, increasing the value of the platform for you. Give it a chance. That's what's happening. It's always been this way. Sock puppet accounts. And activism, don't get me wrong. So we put on an event in Pittman, New Jersey, and there's a theater there, and across the street was a small little brewery. And I don't think they exist anymore, but they started at the last minute. Antifa extremists from across the country started threatening both venues. They threatened the theater that they were going to burn it down, so the theater canceled our contract and said, sue me. And I was like, are you kidding, dude? Like, breach of contract outright. Okay. Well, the brewery across the street was getting inundated with phone calls from people saying, like, why are you hosting these people? And it's a cult. That's why. And Twitter allows these cultists to organize. And these were real people. One guy calls in and he says, I'm upset that you're hosting this event, and I'm not going to give you my business. And the owner was just like, do you even live here? And he was like, no. Like, where do you live? The guy lived in San Francisco. And she's like, I don't care about your business. And then hung up. And I was just like, you see, this is it. They get inundated with phone calls from people saying we're angry. And you know what? It might work on big corporations who are too stupid to realize it's a troll campaign. But the best part is, when you're a small business serving a local community and you're like, bro, you don't live here. Why do I care? Like, the people who buy from me are my neighbors. I know who they are. When it comes to national level stuff, Twitter is a disaster. Now, I don't know how Elon solves that problem, but dealing with the sock puppets and the bots is the first step. Now, of course, people will always be able to use the internet to organize, but you can make it a little bit harder, I guess. As for those that are fleeing to Mastodon, I love it. I got no beef with Mastodon. I like the Fediverse. I actually think it would be really cool if Twitter federates. Probably not gonna, because there's investors who want to see a return, but federates is basically, you can create a server. I can log into any one of these apps and follow you on that server. So like at Timcast, Timcast at, and then like the server name, server.server or whatever, right? And then you can be using whatever instance you want and follow me on a different server. Unless, of course, they block the servers, and they do that. But Mastodon's fairly woke. Right now, there's millions of people signing up. The only problem? It's so difficult to use. And I'm not trying to drag Mastodon, because I do like the tech. I do like decentralized technology. But they're very woke. They ban people for like whatever. I think Gab is on the Fediverse. So you can, I'm pretty sure you can be on Gab and like follow someone on some other platform or something. But I think they blocked Gab servers, so whatever. Anyway, The code is not particularly complicated. Here's the issue. I have a Mastodon account. I have no idea how to find it. Like, you can't just log in. No joke. When Mastodon years ago was popping up, I signed up and I have an account somewhere. And it's like Timcast or something. I don't know. And so I try logging in. I'm like, how do I find my account? It's like, we don't know. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't know either. So whatever. And when you want to sign up now, there's like a wait list. They have to like review your account and they pre-ban people. So it's like, dude, okay, whatever, man. Twitter is going to be the hub because Twitter is fun and funny. Twitter uses it's at an all-time high, and Elon Musk is laughing about it. The more they write about it, the more we talk about it, the more people want to join the party. Don't you want to be here, man? Looking at all these Twitter employees be like, Elon Musk asked me to work, so I quit. Okay. It's like that video of that woman who was like, Starbucks made me work 8 hours this weekend. I have to work Friday and Saturday. There's so many customers. Oh, welcome to the job. These people haven't worked. It's funny. I love the idea of Star Trek. This future where people just want to work. No. We're not cultivating that. You know, they try and play this idea like when there's no currency and people don't need money, they're able to just do what they want. And I'm like, no, they won't. They're going to sit around and complain. They're going to find a fake reason to complain. They're going to come up with some wacky cult religion and then go around screaming because they need purpose. So people need work. I am not confident the Star Trek future is upon us based on what happens to people. You know, you see them on TikTok and Twitter when they finally have to work and they're like, oh, we need a union. Okay, dude, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. No, you know what? I'm going to save it, actually. But we've got big plans in the works. I've talked about the cafe that we want to launch, so I will put it this way. In the works is a plan for a cafe with proprietary products, and I want to open them next to Starbucks. And then I want to tell those Starbucks employees we'll pay you better if you work for us. Starbucks, not a fan. I don't like these big corporate chains. And you know what? I was thinking about what we can do in terms of changing how business works. I want to open a cafe that has a rev share with its employees, all of them. And the employees actually get to vote on the people they work with and who they hire. And if the company doesn't make money, I don't care. I don't intend to pull profits from this cafe. Here's my plan. I'm going to open a cafe with proprietary products next to or near Starbucks location. We have one in mind. I want to hire a bunch of people and tell them the money you make is minimum, right? I'm not saying a minimum wage. Like, we're going to pay you a base salary and it's going to be good. And you will get a rev share every month. We will put 20% of the profits into the rainy day fund so that in the event there's a slowdown or a recession or something, the money will still be there to keep the company open and y'all will keep your jobs. But outside of that, rev share across the board for all staff. Got a staff member who's causing problems, then there's going to be a semi-hierarchical structure where y'all get to vote and say this person should not be working here. They do not deserve the tips we receive. Y'all can figure out how you do tips. You want it individually? You want it split? Up to you, man. Up to you. And then I want to see how Starbucks is able to handle that, because I want to make a place that's not driven by profit, but driven by community ownership and a cooperative, essentially. And I think we can do it. And I want to see people who succeed through hard work. And here's my bet. These people who are crying like, I have to work 8 hours. We're not going to have any of those. Because the other staff members are going to be like, dude, if you can't handle this, you can leave. But when we get more customers, we make more money. It's one thing I never liked about these businesses. I worked at a Jamba Juice. And when the rush comes in, you're like, I'm not getting any more money because there's a rush. It's just stressful. And so the employees would say things like this. I don't care if they leave. I still get paid. I'm not the one making money. And I'm like, good point. So those are my plans. Anyway, somewhat unrelated to what's going on, but I'm really excited. I want to open that cafe and just be like, guys, if you don't want the customers, if the customer is being mean to you and you don't want their money, by all means, you can. I recommend being polite, but I want to see hardworking people who want to succeed make a business succeed. And we're going to make a new kind of business because I believe in putting my money where my mouth is. Apparently, Elon Musk does too. And we got to build a culture that weeds out these lazy people. So I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 1 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.